Hey guys, and welcome to Of Those Below. In this series, I will be interviewing people who have amazing stories to tell. I hope you find them encouraging and inspiring. Here we go. Hey, Georgia.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. I'm super good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So tell me, where are
Good.
you in the world?
I'm right outside of Dallas, Texas.
Ooh, okay. How's the weather out there?
Mhm.
I heard it snowed.
It is stupid right now. Like last week, it or 2 weeks ago, it snowed and it was like 20 degrees. Over the weekend, it was like 85, and
Oh
now
my
today it's
God.
in like the 50s. So I'm just kind of like, if I get sick, that's why. Just because
Dang.
Texas can't make its mind up.
Yeah, geez. So how's I know last time I saw you, you cut my hair.
Yes.
And it was right before the worst thing that's ever happened to me. But anyway, um,
Yes.
since then, or how's the hair industry going for you?
It's going really good, actually. I mean, it's a slow season just for the salon industry in general right now. Um, and I mean, I started working full time at a salon in June, so I'm still trying to build up a clientele and everything, but it's been going pretty good. It's been getting a little bit steadier, so it's nice.
Yeah, you have your regular clients, that kind of thing.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah, I see you on Instagram. I try to comment every time I see you post on
I
your.
know, and I love it. You're the only one, and I'm just every time I see it, I'm like, yeah, she's so like you're just so constant. I love it.
Yeah, well, I see yeah, I see your before and afters and I'm just like, dude, she did that like with her
Yeah.
hands. Like she is able to do that. So, yeah, I know I'm like far away, but I try to like send my love in that way. So,
hmm
yeah, it looks good. Looks like you're like I'm not saying you're ever like bad, but it looks like you're getting better, you know.
Yes,
I
for
could
sure.
tell.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Thank you.
awesome. I love that. Yeah. So, thank you again for agreeing to letting me interview you. I want to
hmm
tell, I first want to tell a story of how I met you, and you can
Sure.
attest to this, see if I'm right, if you remember as
Okay.
well. So I think it was 2017, and I was your youth leader, and I got introduced to you by Christina Jones right outside a club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And I remember, I'm gonna be real, I think I told you this already, but I was so intimidated by you.
Everybody tells me that. Literally, everyone's like, "You look like such a mean girl," and then then they come around. But
Yeah, yeah. Well, like it's not even a mean girl. Like you just had this like confidence about you. Like most people who you were like 16, I think. Most people 16,
yeah,
like
something like that.
they're trying to be cool and like say the cool thing and try to fit in and like, whatever. But you were just like quiet and stoic. You're just like chill. And I was just like, how do I have a conversation with this person? And like I would ask you things and you'd answer, and I was just like, oh, that's easy, but I
Yeah,
was just like so intimidated. And then like I finally
yeah.
chilled out and like realized like that's your personality.
hmm
You just don't really things don't really bother you, at least from what I can tell.
Yeah, not on the outside.
Yeah, I wish I was like you. Like you could read if you want to know what I'm feeling, you could just see my face. That's how I am.
Yeah.
Man, so that was 2016. So is that 8 years? No, I can't do math. That's
I think it was like the summer, or it was like the
2017.
school year going into junior year
It's 5 years
for
ago.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild to think like we've known each other for 5 years?
I know it honestly, like sometimes when I think about stuff like that, it makes me feel like so old, even though like I'm not, but just like thinking
Right.
back, like, oh, like 5 years ago or like 8 years ago, I'm like, what the heck? Like it feels weird.
Yeah, totally. When I think of like, when I say like 10 years ago, I want to think I'm like a child, but 10 years ago, I
Yeah.
was 17, you
Yeah.
know? It's just like, so I don't know. Like, I feel like time goes quicker when you're older and I hate it. But
hmm
yeah, no, I remember. And then I think like after a couple times, like, I think we clicked pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just became friends after I left to Alaska, and I just love that I still get to connect with you. You're just a really
hmm
significant person in my life. So, um,
Thanks.
so I hope you know that. Well, I wanted to ask you, you took the Enneagram test.
Yes.
Do you remember what number you got?
I think it said I was a 6. I couldn't really tell because I saw the graph and it was like 4 different things, and
Yeah.
then at the bottom it was like a 6, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Which, yeah,
Did you get to read a little bit about it?
no,
Okay. No
not
worries.
really. I tried, but like it was all blurred out because you had to pay for it or
Yeah.
whatever. So I was
No
like, eh.
worries. Yeah. So I'll tell you, the 6 is labeled as the loyalist. So what that means, or in other words, they're committed, they're engaging, responsible, but they can be anxious and suspicious. How do you feel about those labels? Are they
Very
accurate?
true.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I feel like they're very accurate.
Okay. Okay. So I don't know many 6s, so that's so interesting. I thought for sure you'd be at more of a 7.
You know what's weird though is some like a couple years ago I did this thing. I did the Enneagram test because someone was like, "Hey, you should, whatever," because we were doing it. And I
Yeah.
actually got a 7 a
Oh,
couple years ago, but I honestly think that just the way that I've like been growing and the way that I have matured and everything, it's definitely based on what you just said. That's honestly how I feel just like day to day in life, which is super
wow.
weird that it's, but that's just, yeah, how it is. So,
That's so interesting. Well, I mean, it makes sense. Like, you're not done yet, right? Like, you still have a lot of life to live, as do
yeah.
I. But yeah, that's so interesting. I wish I would have taken things like this when I was younger to see how I've
Hmm.
changed. Um, but yeah, I mean, I can't go back and do that. So that's really cool. Yeah, I always thought like you'd be a 7, just like, I don't know, like, I mean, you are outgoing and stuff, but like that personality of like, kind of like things roll off your back, that kind of thing. So no, I
Yeah.
totally see. But whenever I found out you were a 6, I was thinking about that. And I'm like, like, I think about your friendship with Shaylee, and because it's like the closest person I know that we both know. And I'm like,
Yes.
like, Georgia's always been super loyal. Like, I see that. Like, you will go down with the ship, you know?
Mhm.
And so I think that it's pretty accurate. So I think that's a good call.
Yeah.
Well, you're not a number, Georgia. So I actually have a couple of other fun questions so that people can get to know you a little better. They're meant to be
Okay.
fun. So there's not like a wrong answer or anything. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. So are you more of a reader or a movie watcher?
I hate reading actually, so definitely a movie watcher.
Okay.
For me personally, like I cannot sit down and focus on reading a book. I will read the same sentence like 4 times because of my ADHD, and I'm just like, I can't. I close the book, I put it away, I go turn a movie on. I just, yeah.
That's okay. No worries. I'm the opposite. I can't sit still and like in one position and watch a movie. Like I feel like I need to do something with my hands. And so,
Mhm.
but that's okay. So, okay. So tell us about one of the worst movies you've ever seen.
Ooh, that is such a like very open, broad question. Um,
It could be cartoon, it could
most,
be older, newer.
hmm. Honestly, it was a great movie, but I think I just hated it so much because it made me so emotional. And I actually did read the book for this one.
Oh.
The Fault in Our Stars was probably, like I said, it's a great movie, but just the emotions that it made come out of me sitting in that movie theater, I was just like
Were you crying?
sopping wet with tears, covered in snot, like couldn't breathe. Just the way it made me feel, I was just like, I can't put myself through that again. Like I said, it's a good book, it's a good movie. This story, like it's a sweet story, but it's just such an emotional roller coaster that it
Totally.
was exhausting.
So sad. Yeah, that's exhausting would be a good word to describe that movie. So you read the book
Yeah.
before you watched
I
it?
did. You know what though? I read the book up until like the very end, so I did not know what was coming in the end either. And so I went into the movies like, oh yeah, this has been like such a good book, but I didn't finish it. And then I was just sitting there in the movie theaters like, oh my gosh, what is
Yeah.
happening? And it just
Oh.
stressed me out so much. But yeah, that's probably up there with not necessarily the worst, but emotionally the worst.
Totally. No, that's fair. That's a good one. That's a bad one, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I got another question for you. So let's say your house is on fire and
Mm,
everything, like everyone and everything thing that is alive is safe, like your dogs and cat and all that.
Sure.
You only have time to get one thing out of the house. What is that one thing you'd go for?
Y'all don't hate me for saying this, but I'm probably gonna try to get my bed out of this house because I've literally told everybody I don't care where I go, what I'm doing, but like my bed, if I stay the night at Shaylee's, I bring my comforter, 3 of my pillows, my blankets, like it just, as far as that goes, like it just has to come with me. I can't live without it. I will take it everywhere I go.
That is so funny. I've never heard that. People are like, oh, my journal or my sweater that my grandma knit me. And you're like, my mattress.
Literally.
You're
Yeah,
gonna like
I'm
push that thing
gonna
out.
try, I'm gonna do what
Yeah.
I can to get it out of here because yeah.
You're so funny. Okay, last question I got for you is if you could ask your older self one question, what would it be?
Probably, I mean, I would hope that my older self is successful. So I would probably ask, like, what did it take to get to where you are today? You know, that kind of thing. Like, what do I have to do? How do I have to do it? You know, that kind of thing, just to
Hmm, that's good. Yeah, that's a
make
good one.
sure I'm on the right path and not cut corners or something.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I like that. Okay. Well, I know you have a story for us. What story are you going to be telling us today?
Honestly, probably just like how I got to where I am right now. Just with my career and where I am kind of with life. Um, so I graduated in 2019. I graduated high school, and I like wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do, and so I went to community college just with the intention that like, oh, I'm just gonna go get an associate's, try to figure out a degree plan, you know, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
figure out where I stand, what I want to do. And so semester after I graduated, I started community college, and then that next semester was going into 2020, and that's when COVID hit, and so
Mhm.
obviously everything went online, and I like it sucked. I'm not gonna lie, it was awful. Just like how everybody
Jeez.
explains it, it was shitty.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I really just felt like I was like taking high school courses still, like just because I didn't have a set like major or anything, so I was taking like basic history and
Yeah.
speech, and I was just like, this sucks. Like I don't want
Right.
to do this. I hate school. Like this is not for me. And so like over that summer I was thinking about doing cosmetology school, just because I was like, well, you know, it's kind of creative, it's only a year, it's not too expensive, like it's something to think about. And
Yeah.
I was originally going to take a year off and just like work full time, save up all the money for school, and then go into it like the next year.
Yeah.
um but my parents had other plans, and they were like, you're not taking a year off, like that's such a waste of time, you're going to not want to go back to school. And so I was just kind of like, okay, well, I guess I'll go. Yeah, it wasn't ideal for me. Like I didn't want to have any student loans, but I was like,
Right.
whatever, it's
Right.
not too bad. So I started like fall semester of 2020. I
Mm.
started in, I think it was like August or September. And then it was finished in May. And I mean, you have to have like 1,000 hours or something to get your license and everything. So I finished school, got my license. And actually during school, the like part-time job that I had, my manager like knew that I was in Cosmo school and going through all that kind of stuff. And he was like, hey, well, I know someone who knows someone who works in a salon. If you like, I can give you their information and everything,
That's crazy.
and give them your information. I was like, okay, yeah, like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because like in school, they're like, oh, you're gonna start at a Supercuts or Great Cuts, you know, and like nobody wants to do that. And
Nobody
so I
wants
was
to
like,
do
that'll
that.
be cool. Yeah, and so I got in touch with the receptionist at a salon, And she was like, yeah, I'm not the owner, but like I can give you and your information to my boss and like she can get in touch with you, whatever. And so I went and talked to her and I just kind of explained to her, like, I'm about to graduate. I still have to get my license and everything. So I can't start working. But like, if you have any shadowing positions or like a receptionist position open, like, I'd love to
Yeah.
be for your salon. And so she was like, yeah, I'd love that. Like, you can help me and like just work on some models or whatever until you get your license. And so I did that, got my license in June. I started working for her. Um, and so now I work at Vogue Salon in Waxahachie.
Yeah. So the same
And
place that you cut
yeah,
my hair
same
at.
place. Yes,
So you got your license in June, and when did you start working? Like immediately?
immediately, yes. Because
Wow.
I right, but like before I got my license, I was, like I said, I was shadowing her, watching what she did on clients, and it's definitely different from what you learn in school. It's
Sure.
everybody's got different techniques and everything. So it was cool just to watch and learn. Um, and so she'd seen that I'd learned a lot and I'd helped her with certain clients and, whatever. So right after I got my license, I was still mostly shadowing her and helping her, but then she kind of let me go out on my own and take a couple of my own clients. And then, from there, it just kept building. And now here I am. What is it? May, June, July, August, September. A couple months later, almost a year
Yeah.
later.
Wow.
And I'm still at the same salon. I honestly haven't had any issues with anyone there. It's been super great so far. I'm very excited to see
I
what the
remember.
future holds. So,
Do you remember when you told me you were gonna? I think I don't know at what point you told me you were gonna work at a salon. Do you remember what I told you?
no.
I was like, "Be careful, everyone's
Oh,
catty.
yes.
Everyone's gonna talk
You're like,
shit
girls are
about you.
smooches. Like, yes.
It's a horrible environment. Keep your head up." And you're like,
Yes. And I
"Okay,
honestly, like, for a little bit, it kind of felt that way. And so the salon I work at has two locations. And I started at one location and it was definitely very clicky. Like,
yeah,
everyone was already there. They had their friend groups, they had, people that they talked to.
yeah,
And so I talked to my boss and I was like, can I move to the other location? Just because
mm,
like I would go back and forth helping her because she works at both. And
yeah,
every time I'd be at the other location, everyone was like, hey, how are you doing? How's your day? Like,
wow,
super interested in me and not like staring at my when I walk in the break room and stuff like that.
right,
So
wow."
it's yeah.
And honestly, I think coworkers make or break a job for sure.
Oh, for sure.
And in that industry, it's like, yeah, I mean, you're with them like shoulder to shoulder almost all day long.
All the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So definitely after moving, it's been a lot better. Just because also like the location of where it is, like it's right in downtown. So there's so many walk-ins and it's just this like big old building and it's super pretty and it's definitely more my vibe, which is cool.
So are
But
you in the one near the highway 287? Are you still at that one?
no, yeah, that's where I started, but I
Oh,
moved
okay.
to the one I'm at right now is literally like I don't know if you've ever been in downtown Waxahachie, but it is like the old courthouse is in the middle, and then
Yeah.
there's like all these boutiques and
Oh,
shops all around it, and
cool.
I'm
Yeah.
literally like across the street from me is the courthouse, so it's super cool.
I love downtown Waxahachie. So you're like
Yeah,
downtown. Wow.
like
And you
smack in
could
the middle.
go and like have lunch at like the little
Mhm.
places around. Wow, okay. That's a way better
Yeah.
location than off the highway,
Oh,
honestly.
for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have
So
any
yeah.
in your when in your clientele, is there a preference you have? Like, do you enjoy doing hair like on people your age? Do you enjoy doing like shampoo and sets for older ladies? Like, is
Um, honestly, it kind of it stresses me out doing people my age just because like I I don't know, like I feel like when I talk to people, I want them to talk back to me about like relatable stuff. And I feel like just like where I am in my personality and everything else, like talking to older people, I can definitely relate more and I get along better with
wow.
people older than me. Just I don't know, it's just always kind of been that way. But when when I talk to people my age, I'm like, oh my god, she's judging me or whatever. And so if I like I can talk to 40-year-old women all day about their work, about their kids, about their marriage. Like people tell me everything too. Like I'm literally a therapist when I
You're
go
a
to work, and I
therapist.
mean yeah, which is fine. Like, I'll just sit there and listen. Like, please talk to me the whole time because I don't have anything to say. Because it just, I don't know, it stresses me out a little bit. But
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Wow. Do you find that like the older women have just like a lot more to talk about than like the younger women?
I do. And like I said, they have kids, they have jobs, they're
Yeah.
married, and I had a client the other day talk to me about like switching insurance, and I was like, okay, cool. But like they just, yeah. So it's
Wow.
just they have a lot
Do you think at all like
more to
this is
talk about. And like I said, sometimes it's random stuff.
yeah,
Do
I
I?
feel I feel like this is gonna be like not like a weird question, but like do you ever like how the whole thing like oh like young people don't know how to have conversations. Do you feel that's true at all? Like in your you have a great
Um,
example of like younger people and older people in your clientele. Do you feel like that's true that like this young generation like us, we've lost our
yeah.
touch?
Sometimes like I feel like with like formal conversations, it can be an issue sometimes just because I don't know, that's just kind of the vibes that I get, but I feel like that's partially why I don't like talking to people my age because it's the same thing, like we're both kind of just staring awkwardly, waiting for someone to say something first. And so, yeah, it just gets a little rusty.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, when I worked at the salon, I agree. I think the older people definitely were easier to talk to. Um, they just had, like you said, a lot more to say, a lot more stories to tell. And the people that would
Yeah.
come in my age, it was just kind of like transactional, like, I'm here to see this person. Okay, bye.
Hmm.
Like, and it's just kind of
Yeah.
cold. So yeah, there's something warm about like older people and and they're getting pampered. I'm sure you don't have to deal with too many like angry clients, do you?
No, not a lot,
Good. Unless you mess up their
but
hair.
I haven't messed up anyone's hair yet.
Is that like
Knock on wood that
anxiety?
that doesn't happen. It would freak me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm sure it will.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll handle it fine. Well, Georgia, I'm so proud of you for going after something and just continuing to stick with it. I'm just so glad that you were able to find something that you like and have success in it because
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm 27. I finally found something that I like, like if you're
Mhm.
21
Yeah,
and this is going to build and build and build, like people's hair is going to continue to grow. They're going to continue
exactly.
to, you're all set. So I'm really proud of you. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Well, I do have one more question for you.
Okay.
What nugget of wisdom would you want the world to know?
Um, this is just something I feel like that has been a just kind of refreshing with my life recently. Um, just I heard it somewhere. Somebody said it. I don't know if I read it somewhere, or if it was a TikTok or what. But it was, what did it say? It said, find peace in your past so that you can live in the present. And I
Oh,
definitely like, just for me personally, just with certain issues or past issues or problems, stuff like that, I just definitely feel like that has helped me definitely live in the present and even move forward into the future. And just because a lot of times like I will sit on things that have happened in the past, whether they're good things or bad things, just for me, like moving forward with them, and just like I said, trying to get past them. And because if you don't find peace with stuff in your past and you just dwell on it, and you're never going to get anywhere, you know what I mean? So that's
yeah,
definitely helped me in everything, and I definitely think that a lot of people can benefit from that for sure.
totally. I really like that quote because I think your past will just continue to haunt you unless you deal with it?
Exactly,
So
yeah.
yeah, well, thanks, Georgia. Yeah, I just want you to know I love you and I support you and I'm happy for you where you're at in life. You will always have a friend in me. You can always count on me. If shit hits the fan, text me first. I'll
Yes, I
try to
will.
figure it out. to help you, because you're just a really significant person in my life, and I'm encouraged by hearing your success story. I think that um, I know that, you know, whoever hears this a year from now, 10 years from now, whatever, on YouTube, they're going to be like, oh, cool. Like maybe I'll try cosmetology, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope, you know, you're an encouragement to me and to many others.
Thank you. Well, I could definitely say the same for you. You've been a major impact in my life since day one, and I appreciate you a lot.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, thank you again for sharing part of your evening with me. It was so good to see you.
You too.
All right. Well, I love you.
Love you too.